All right, shalom, 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 everybody. This is Ivan, the Trinity of Water, with another preparation for Purpose Television, Tell Your Vision show. And I haven't did a show in quite some time, so let's hope I make it worth your time. Now, not only haven't I did a show in quite some time, I've been doing kind of shorts because people really don't take the time to really look at the shows like that. However, remember, this show isn't about the majority or where most people want. It's about, just like God, I give you what you need. So this is a pretty deep show, right? And not only haven't I did a show for quite some time, I haven't really had a download for quite some time. There was a gentleman on the internet. He was saying, I can't think exactly what it was, but he was saying something was being blocked. And I must admit, I didn't think that was possible. You know what I mean? But I must admit, it's been quite some time since I really got a real strong download. However, I got one today, right? So this show is about existence. And I want to try to make complicated subjects simplistic, right? So basically, let's not even, no, matter of fact, I'm going to take that back real quick. This show isn't about existence. This show is about our true language, right? Let's call it the language of light. How is so many, let's say, religions, right? And I'm noticing they're saying like the same things just in different ways, but they're so their mind is so strong on what they believe that they're not coming together. It's like a form of separation, right? So, and I'm sure you heard that before, but it gets a little deeper. So I was watching a show about the Tower of Babel, and I had always thought, I'm like, okay, they were on one accord, right? And they were making things happen. Excuse the noise, it's a real show. Son, upstairs doing whatever. You know how I go when you start doing, these type of things. But anyway, so they were on one accord, speaking the same language, right? And they were making things happen. Now I said, okay, now what's wrong with that? Okay, their intentions, intentions of the heart, it wasn't in the right place. So they said they was building it to go to heaven, to dedicate it to God. Now, does that sound familiar? Just being real, not judging. I mean, I can't. But let's say, Christians or Muslims, like what you do, and just you can only yourself can answer this. Is it really just about the God that you serve, or is it sometimes either all or more about how you're looking, what kind of recognition you're getting? Is it monetarily? Is it just being real? So what was downloaded to me was, it was meant actually just like the Tower of Babel, where God separated everyone with different languages, and then they couldn't understand one another. Bear with me. See, a language is what? Death and life is in the power of a tongue. A language sends what? A word, a vibration, a sound. You see what I mean? So you have a plethora of languages as well, right? And also, what I really caught from watching that show was when he was saying what God wanted was expansion. That's what this is about, existence. And what expansion has to do with existence, the beginning, right? You know how many people say, well, how did this all begin? I mean, it just sounds too simple for it to just say, okay, let there be light, let there be. In a way, no, it's accurate. I'm going to get to it. Yeah, very deep show. Like I said, I'm going to try to make it simplistic. But anyway, so it was meant for everyone to be fruitful, multiply, speak different languages, have different belief systems. And this is why I always said, let people be them. Because wherever you started from. And if, let's say, you got to a place where you can learn from everything, a blade of grass, you can learn from just, everything, just as it was meant to be, then, and hey, what works for you works. Chew the meat, spit out the bone. But letting people, but if you got there, let them get there. You're not a savior. You know what I mean? So sometimes we get a little too intelligent for our own good, but it was meant because God, we're God's little G's experiencing ourselves with the big G observing us as well. See, this is and that might not make sense, but I'm going to make it make sense. Bear with me. So, knowledge, a blade of grass, we spread to be able to discover the vast existence of knowledge, of understanding, of all things. What of this all get what? Understanding. Right? And then when you stop at one thing, you won't understand what? Others. So you won't be able to do what? Come together. So just like the Tower of Babel, okay, now we can learn from that. They had the right idea. They just went about it the wrong way because their heart wasn't in the right place. Right? But it was a power in that. They were on what? One accord, understanding, speaking the same language. So as I said, this is a brief about, and I'm talking about most, I can't say all because I haven't, really studied all religions, but most, you have to look like quantum physics, like we're under the surface of what you can't see. Remember, the things you can't see is what's really real. You can't take surface level things and just take it, just accept it. You know what I mean? So when we look at existence, right? In the beginning was what? The word. So now it's about to get deep. So I was given a movie screen. So if you can see this, right? It's a square with a circle in it, right? Like wrestling, the square and circle. So this is obviously something that's probably like from Masonic temples and skull and crossbones and other secret societies. I'm sure this is something, it's knowledge that's been known for years because you can just look and tell. As I said, I was watching something about existence. I can't think of the name of the show, but it was saying it was a square with a circle inside of it. And we know, if you study a little sacred geometry and some other things, that's a pretty powerful symbol. But that the circle was trying to escape from the square. Now, that's a whole nother video for a whole nother time. But we know that also looks like what? The first televisions. See, when I say tell your vision, see, it looks like a television, that circle inside of a square. So this is where, like I said, it gets deep. What are we? When people say, who are you? I swear, the more I go on, the deeper that gets. So let's say let's begin with being the observer. Because what? I'm not Ivan. I'm not Ivan, the Trinity of Water. I'm not my state. See, it's a vision, telling a vision. We're all telling a vision and we're watching it. And this has been known, right? So imagine you're watching. You ever just watch yourself do crazy things? Like Paul in the Bible, he says, the things I know I should do, I don't do, and the things, basically, why am I doing this? I'm just watching myself be crazy. Have you ever been there? Let's just be real. But it's a lesson. It's lessons that you're observing. You're not your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, your incarnation for this particular lifetime. You're just an observer. So how some people say I'm just a consciousness. Okay, yeah, you could be conscious, of you're conscious that you're observing, but to just say this state, like imagine I call myself Ivan the Trinity of water, which is part of the existence of, say, mankind. You could say this earth. It is levels to this. But I lost my train of thought. So let's just get to this sheet of paper, right? You can tell I'm a little rusty, y'all. Y'all gotta forgive me. And this show is so deep, you know. But okay, so this is something that's only given orally. So when I say downloaded, this was an oral tradition, I was told. So, you know, when something is man made, it's going to, that's why you can watch a plethora of different things, and you gotta kind of, certain symbols and certain things may kind of correlate. While, you know, just like the Greeks and the Hebrews and the, you know, how you can say, okay, it's different names, but the same symbols. There's certain things where, you know, Horus and Jesus, where it kind of correlates, right? So while people get caught in that, it's more so saying, okay, I need to, you know, man made this. So what am I missing? I'm reading it from the heart, not the mind. What am I missing? So you have that, you know, that there. So when you get your downloads, you can put everything together. So as I said, I have the square. So I want you to think of the periodic table of elements, right? The square in this circle, right? So this is a story. The Bible, all these different, you know, religious books on the, not on the surface level. Remember, quantum physics, all of this is a story of water. Like I said, my name. There we go. Pick back up. Ivan the Trinity of water. It's a story of water. Yes. And I still, and I know a lot about water, but it's still so much to grasp. I shouldn't even say a lot. Maybe compared to what your average person may know. But I was told a long time ago that water is the key to everything. Water holds memory. It's the beginning. So at the beginning, like I said, you have hydrogen. Hydrogen has what? One atom. The sun. And God loved the world so much, sent his only what? SON, dual meanings. The sun, the light. Remember I told you what was Christ in the Bible? Christ was what? The Word made flesh. At the beginning was what? The Word. An atom. That's us. We're atoms. And when I said it's the big G, remember we're guys as well. The ye not say you're guys. We're little G's. So that's like the self. That without the flesh and everything, just the self. Conscious. That's conscious of this body and everything, but it isn't the body. And a lot of people get caught with just like the Tower of Babel, with just the self or the little G, knowing that you are a God and forgetting, as they say, like our ancestors, and forgetting there's a God that exists outside of space and time that a lot of people forget and doesn't give reference to. Therefore, if it's like zero, the number zero, see that, like the zero inside of there. The zero is the most abundant number there is, most infinite number. Hydrogen is the most abundant element it is. But it could be everything and nothing. How? If you're aware of it, get what I'm saying? Awareness, you're conscious of it, it's everything. Just like this story I'm about to tell. But if you're unaware of it, you know, and it's not a knock, it's just everybody's on different levels, or it's just not for you at this particular time, or maybe at all. But it's nothing. You're unaware of it. Like what? Like our junk DNA. That's why they call it junk. They don't know what it do. We don't know what it do. Therefore, what? It's nothing. And when it's nothing, it's not being what? Not being used. See what I mean? So now the story, hydrogen, sent this atom, which is a word of light. See, it's a language. Remember, I said it's a language of light. All these ancient traditions and teachings are teaching. When you read it from the heart, it will lead you to a language of light where you begin to understand. Of all things, get understanding. That's the subconscious. That's ice. Remember, I said I'm correlated to my name. So think of it like ice, right? Three levels of water, trinity of water: ice, liquid water, which is the flow, and steam. Whether two or three gather, I'm in the mist story. This is the mist story. Christ said, I'm a mystery. Told orally, downloaded to, and and I can't say exactly to whom. I just know I'm one of them. You know what I mean? So, anywhom, so the ice is stillness. Be still and what? Know I'm God. As above, so below. Told you I'm gonna correlate this. So ice is like congealed light. Remember the word, the language of light. God so loved the world, the big G, source. So loved the world. He, she, it is not a, you can't put a label on it. It's actually disrespectful. But if you don't know, you don't know. How can you know what you don't know? But anywho, and I still do it. So anywho, it sent its only son, S-O-N-S-U-N, light, so that the world may be saved. Now, as I said earlier, we are as above, so below. Not exactly. Ice isn't steam. It all same, still water, but just living in three different states. See what I mean? Big G is outside of space and time, living in three different states. So just like we're living in the United States, do you get what I'm saying? So we have to get our state when we say we're trying to get closer to God, we're looking at it at a whole nother level. I'm putting you on something that a very, very, very intricate few know. And I know whoever, it might not even show on YouTube that one person watched this, but this is for a specific few that will get it. I was already told that. Who it is not up to me. Anywho, so ice, like ice age. What's going on in Alaska? What does ice do when something's frozen? It preserves it. It's like sleep, be still and what? Know that I am God. Whether two or three gather, I'm in the midst. Do you get what I'm saying? The Alpha and the Omega. Alpha, stillness. Zero, remember? Zero. It could be everything and nothing. 0 point field, meditation. It's an understanding of something else I was watching, and it was about Noah, and they were saying how it was a deeper story. Oh, I wish I can remember the name of it, but it was a deeper story of how Noah was given from an angel, which I'll get to, which is angels, but was given the sheet of understanding of the all existence since the beginning of time, and was told about the giants and a plethora of things, but they was given Noah understanding. You understand? Subconscious is what? Under, sub, like sub-zero. Get it? Sub-zero. They know these things. Subconscious. And it's what? It doesn't know the difference between whether someone's what? If it's real, it's false. It just is. I am that I am. It just is. It isn't conscious of all that, right? That's why I need you. You are what? The consciousness, the now, right? The past. Think of subconscious like the past. It knows all the things that ever happened. All the stories that is in you. While you looking out here, it's in you, but it's also like the kingdom. It's inside and outside. You can't forget. You need both. That's very important. And I'm going to get to the existence and creation, but this is important. So the subconscious, it sent its only son, and it was what? This is what? A prism. What is blackness? It was void. Remember, before creation, what? The world, it was void. But God will say, what? My word won't come us. The Adam, we're being perfected. It's going to be called the perfected Adam. And My word won't what? Won't come back to me void. So it's already so although most are what? Asleep, here congeal light in a what? A prison, which is a prism. That's where they get prism. A prison. Our what cells? Our mind in prison. Our cells in prison. Congeal slow down light from a what? A planned net. So it was it. So how do you get it? It talks about that in the Bible as well, to free the prisoners, right? So when you think about it, it's imprisoned. It's a prism. What is? But it's void. It's black. But what is black? Black is the inclusion of all colors. So I'm gonna give you one. Blackness or darkness is simply something that is nowhere. It like we said, we can't see but 1% of the light spectrum. It's just because we're unaware that we can. And to have the faith and the real memory, that's when that junk DNA and all which is really a treasure, awakens. When what? When it memory. So the beginning shall be like the end. And this is why this is so important, because I'm going to give you the light code, source code, the light codes necessary to get what? Memory. To make you remember. So when they say you have to program the subconscious, that's the self. Like I said, that's deep too. But that's again the Tower of Babel. It's powerful. You might be, they were on one accord, getting things done. But what? God gives you what you need, not what you want. We still don't know what we want. So how can we program the subconscious for what we want when we really don't know what we want? We just know we observed life. And some of us might be very deep on our level. But still all the programming and everything, it's, do you really want to trust that? So you're programming something to do what you feel, your will, get it? Your will, not the true will of God, what it was already programmed to do. Now, how do I know that? Here we go. I'll give you another big one. When I said we're the atom, we're that word, right? That won't come back void. And this is quantum physics. It's the story of water. And I'm going to correlate that in a minute. But when I talk about a quantum physics, the double slit experiment, right? So when they sent to atom, right? And two atoms through a slit, and while it was being observed, it did exactly what it was supposed to. But when the observation was taken away from it, they noticed there was a plethora of possibilities. Just like think of like a multiverse, just a plethora of things. It's just everywhere. Like kids with their parents gone away. That's how it is with the big G, with source. That when Lucifer, Satan, whatever you want to say, it was like, okay, it was ignorant to the fact that it was a gods above him. So he said, I am the only God. There is no God but me. Does that sound familiar? That did ye not know we are gods? I'm just the God with no reverence. Because and then we just do what we want. Come on, I'm guilty too. I mean, we're born into sin because, and like I said, I'm gonna give you a big one. But when we realize, we realize we are being observed. See, everything and nothing, that's like the big G. It's outside of space and time. So it's always there. It's everywhere. Like think of like dark matter and all the unseen things are the real things. It's everywhere. But when you're so right in that matrix, you don't what? You're in the womb. That's why I say you have to be reborn. Come outside the matrix. Come back in. The universal womb. But anywho, so when you're unaware of it, doesn't exist to you. You're unaware of it, which most are. So that still doesn't mean that ye are gods. That your subconscious is it doesn't have that understanding. It's not, it wasn't given the right memory, but it's still so it's like it's nothing, but it's still an on another in another state. Think about it, another state of mind. Just like I said, ice, water, and steam. Think about the unconscious or subconscious, the conscious, and the superconscious. It all correlates. Different states, like different states of what? Mind. So when you're unaware, like I said, that you're being observed. But when you are aware you're being observed from the big G, the source, what have you, there's no name you could put on there. That just the great I am. What happens? You're gonna do exactly what you were supposed to do, but you are already from from pre-existence, from being part of source. See, that's why I said so you have to go back to the beginning. The end should be like the beginning. That our atoms are going to be perfected. And I'm about to get to that. A little deep. You know, I'm just a little Nikola Tesla in there, a little myself in there, you know. Gonna get a little deep, but simplistic. Because listen, I'm not saying a lot of those, you know, reprogramming things and a lot of those very astute teachings don't work. And sounds great, but you literally, when they say just be, and I'm like, be what? Yeah, I don't get. It will start coming to you when you stop trying to actually learn so much. And like I say, program it and make it do it and force it, not by strength, not by might, but what? By the Spirit. This all starts making sense. The Holy Spirit, which is a form of water. Now, that when you drink of this water, remember, when you drink of this water. So, let me get back to the subconscious because this is very serious. So, let me look. So, yeah, above, so below. It's still, we're unaware of it. What? It doesn't know. It just does. You understand? Doesn't have its memory, but the superconscious has it. That's the difference. Alpha and omega. And what are we? We're like the flow. We're like understanding. We have understanding, understanding, overstanding. Right? So, that being said, so yeah, hydrogen sent that one atom. That's the word. That's us. But we what? We forgot. We don't remember our memes. We don't remember our memory of who we are, what we are. It's gone. So what? We're taking that journey back. This is why it's necessary to what? Get what? All things what? Get understanding. Let's understand how this happened. Very important. Hydrogen, most number one more abundant element. See, because we really didn't think that this stuff was real. Very real. Right? So, hydrogen, I'm sorry, something came across. I want to make sure I'm still recording. I did that before. Hydrogen, one atom, sent that word, right? Outside of itself. God's experiencing ourself without, think about how deep that is. Like half in memory and half not remembering. And this is where it gets deep, right? So our junk DNA, which I discussed, that's just like the dark, how they say it's 90% dark matter outside. 90% of our brain we don't use. That's what's real. That's what we don't remember. And that all correlates because that's all what? Not his story. That's not real. It's our story. It's the Myst story, the story of water. All that is only dark because it doesn't have memory that we are the light. Told you this about to get good and it's about to get deep for those who can receive it. Oh, I just want to give thanks. Thank you. I never did that before, but I give thanks, but I mean in the middle of a message, I just led to say thank you. And to have that memory, like I said, the junk DNA, which is your treasure, your true wealth, to know thyself. Say that if you know lost gospel of Thomas, if you know yourself, don't know yourself, then you're poor and ratchet. Paraphrasing. But when you know yourself, just like Christ was a king, but Christ was what? Also a son of man. See, that's very deep. You understand? Because a lot of people don't understand. Like, well, why do he call himself the son of man, but also the son of God? Awareness. That a lot of people think, okay, you got to have all this big movie stuff and you be a millionaire. Come on, I'm still unprogramming that. I'm just being real. And because people listen to what people say when they have a lot of money or a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Basically, when they're very prevalent. Let's put it that way. And although, if you really even logically think about it, if the big G, the real one's going to send something, it's in plain sight, it it wouldn't be where everybody's going to look because that's not a narrow gate. You already know to go to the narrow gate. But that's why I said we can't trust the self. We're already programmed, even when we know it. We're programmed to look at what? The stars and all this. No matter what's all coming out, I don't judge them. I say that's signs saying, okay, that's why God is not a respecter of man. That just like I was watching this young lady right there, iron sharpens iron. She gave me a lot of. We have so much in common, but I was noticing a lot of her battles. I went through those same things, and as she was saying, we're what's if you had $1 million? What's to say? I'm sorry. What's saying that you don't have $1 million? And I hate to jump because I don't really want to get to this, but I need you to get that it's just what? Well, you like, shoot, I got bills I can't pay, or I got, hey, I should have another wardrobe, my car, or lack thereof, or what you see, what you're aware of physically, makes you what? It gives you what? A feeling. It's programmed that way. It's going to give you a feeling that you don't what? Have it. Therefore, your gift, your purpose, your downloads, the most important thing in the world, who you are, what you were here to do, you won't feel worthy of it. Because you said, okay, like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, these, and that's another story, but just saying these very prevalent people that just seem so almost perfect. And do you see what I'm saying? You like, I'm not worthy of that. And by feeling that way, it's designed to do that. What? You don't do, but you don't know how to separate. To say, okay, I'm just observing that, okay, I might be somebody who might work at DTE and, I don't know, have live in an apartment and have a 2000 car. But I'm just giving an example, adjectives to describe somebody and say, well, of course, that wouldn't be the person who would be delivering one of the most important messages known to man. But that's a whole nother state. You understand? That you have to separate. The just like the flesh, the spirit, the soul, all the different states. So I'm also saying that to say, just as me, some of my biggest messages, just like I say, this young lady, just in a regular little apartment, giving a great, powerful message. And so we have to stop looking at the wide gate, right? Not knocking it. Not saying it may not come from there. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. It's a 10% peace of God that passes what? All our understanding. So, just, hey, I don't know. But more than likely, it's going to be the people that's more natural, more, don't have, and I'm not saying people with a lot of followers, no, I'm not saying they don't have great messages, but I just noticed people that's really just, untampered with, I like to call it, they sometimes get the biggest, greatest downloads, right? So, with that being said, the unconscious, that subconscious, unconscious, however you want to put it, both what? Under zero, just no memory. Like I said, the dark matter it correlates right. If you want to know the outer, all you got to do is look inner. So it correlates with our junk DNA. It's right there in front of us in plain sight when you become what? Just aware of it. But if you're not aware of what, it's nothing. So with that being said, those are stories. The kingdom is inside of you. So what do you do first? Just like the Bible said, seek ye first the kingdom and its righteousness. So for that, I want to do exactly what I said. And I know I keep saying this. Like I said, I'm a little rusty, but bear with me. Let's get to understanding the creation. So we had hydrogen, one atom, sitting here, the word. You can call it the Big Bang, whatever. A word, a vibration, a boom, a sound. Atoms everywhere, not knowing. Some parts not knowing it was being observed. Some do. Some does. I like to call the seventh day was what? It was done. When Christ was crucified, Christ would say it's done. This happens a whole nother message. It's done. So it's a part of you that's already at rest, knowing that it's done. That although we're in the prison that can gel light like ice, be still and what? No, you're still God. And although as above, so below, it's not exactly, do you understand? It's just in a different state. Do you understand what I mean? But we can what? Travel back to where we live. Our what? Not heaven, our kingdom. People in church, they always say, well, seek the, to go to heaven when we die. Nowhere in the Bible does it say that. This is why you can't trust man. Do not trust me. Just what you gravitate to. What feels right to you and your inner man, that's what you take, because you will be led the right way. So, anywho, seek yet the kingdom. But with this creation, the hydrogen, the atom, like I said, the word, the Big Bang, the void, it was dark and void. Void of what? Memory. That everything, it was already done. Do you understand what I'm saying? That it was all good. But everything that happened from Cain and Abel and all that, those are details, just like your details in life. Those are symbolic of just like the details of life, and I'm going to get to that because they're all necessary for what? For that atom to be perfected. You need the good and the bad. How else would you know? Just like that was the fall. Duality. Learning what you perceive as bad, so you can have that feeling of what you perceive is good. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's why it was necessary. The fall was congealed light. That was the fall of us in this prism, the prison, a planned net, knowing that the word in it, we won't made flesh and we won't come back void. Now, see what I mean? It starts making sense now. It's real, 100% real. This isn't just a fairy tale. When you get the quantum physics and details of who we truly are. So, after that congealed light, what happens? We gotta what? Speed it up. So we just took somebody's word for it. We said the natural order of things, this is what the subconscious is, this is what the conscious is, this is what the superconscious is. You don't have to accept that. I want to say that again. So if that's the natural state, like say your legs work this way, your arms work, okay, I get it. But that's one state of man. Do you understand? Who says you have to accept that's the way it works? What if you say, this is your world? So what if you say, I want my subconscious to have memory? Understand that we fail. This is something. It was all hydrogen with all water, real water. with a love frequency of light, and it fell. The light fell and was slowed down. It was frozen like Atlantis. Get what I'm saying? Frozen. Fell from a grace, and the light was frozen, unaware of itself, in darkness and in void. And what happened? A creation happened. But all those were details. The only real creation was on the seventh day. That's why it was done. That's why 7 is the number of completion. When Christ, it was already known that Christ, the Son, would be sent as a Savior. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's why Christ's head went down and said, it's done. This was happening simultaneously. The Big G plays checkers, chess, not checkers. But it will only if you have to spend time learning. It's time with learning the Big G. But anyway, so after that fall, this is the way back. So I said I was going to give, a brief about the history of, creation. Well, there you go. Where we came from, how we fell, and now how do we get back there, right? So this story of water. So ice, how do you heat up ice? You heat it up. God already said, okay, a flood was coming, right? Remember the flood of Noah? Well, I was already told that it was we have waves and vibrations. We can't see them. If you're not in the right mind state, if your heart isn't right, those waves, you just like part in the Red Sea, death and life is in the power of the tongue. Your words give vibration. So a flood of knowledge in the right way can come, and you won't be able to perceive it. Like I said, you'll be unaware of it because you didn't build, just like 33 vertebrae in the back. That's your arc. You arc your back. You didn't have the right energy going up, the right voltage. Building an ark of a covenant. So while they're looking out here for the Ark of the Covenant, the Ark of the Covenant is within. It was a promise right after that flood given to Noah that it would never flood again. Never flood with water. But what? It's coming back with what? Fire. And what does fire do to water? It heats it up. What does, like a light, like fire, think of energy. Heat. I didn't come to say kumbaya. I came to get you off there, but put some heat in there. Where what? So you can learn your language of light. 43 minutes, perfect. If you're still here, you need this. I held back for a reason because this is really deep. I'm serious. So just like Nikola Tesla said, right? This is how we get back to the kingdom, to where we came from our fall of grace. And it's simplistic because you just have to be it and believe it. Be and believe, right? So, first, like Nikola Tesla, 369, but it's also 963. You get what I'm saying? That's why 963 is what? The frequency of God. 369 is the frequency of the universe. So it's just like heaven and earth coming together, like two triangles. That forms a Star of David. I was given this. I'm gonna have to write a book about this because it's so deep. But that the star that led the wise man to Christ, that's how we get led back to the Christ in us. It's a Star of David that you're going to see within. It's not something it's not something that's going to happen without. It's going to happen to the believers, the true believers. So it's just like, think of two pyramids, one going this way, one going that way, right? With like a Macabre. But let's just go to two pyramids, one going up, one going down, with a spin, right? Now, 369, 963. Those are angles as well. And I'm going to get to that. I told you angles are angels. But what is that 369 and that 963? As above, so below. You're going to use three very important, intricate, there we go, methodical, you got to be methodical about this, things: math, music, and language. That's how we get back. That's how everything was created and formed. And that's how we get back there. I told you I was going to give you, you thought I was just going to give Genesis, was the genes in us, Genesis, the genes in us, which tells the story. That's how I got it, that it's downloaded. It's a story in here. And I don't know exactly when it's going to come, but anywho, it's an oral tradition. A lot of people don't think it exists. Oh, it exists. And you don't have to be a movie star to get it. You just have to believe. But anywho, language. I'm going to tell you how each works. Language. It's a language of light. So, I'm not telling you to leave your belief system. I still read the Bible. I need to probably read something today. And, it helps me out a lot. Yeah, but I don't stop there. That's why I say I don't call myself a Christian, just like Jesus didn't call himself a Christian. I think it was a scene. But anywho, I listen to a lot of lost Gnostic texts and a lot of plethora of other things. But I'll say this. It's all a language of light. It's how you speak it. When, just like they said, when Christ spoke how? He didn't speak like the Pharisees. Just, trying to sound good and just, he spoke with a certain sound, a certain vibration. Dunamis, they call dunamis power. It's powerful words that you speak. Death and life is in the power of the tongue. But you know how they say, so just speak life. No. That's actually not true. It's not true. You're going to have times, it talks about this, where you be imprisoned, your mind, your cells, and you will speak death, but you're learning lessons. It's necessary. So don't take that for granted. Do you understand what I'm saying? So life and death, it just is in the power of the tongue. You need both. You need to learn from both. Language, so you can speak the language of light, which is for all those who truly believe. When you believe, you can speak the language of light. To go back, so that to learn from the Tower of Babel what they were doing right, and the heart what they were doing wrong, where your intentions, this isn't about you. This is about truly getting back to who you really are and giving reverence to the big G, and it being from the heart, not just to get recognition. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, anywho, the language of light. So, it's a lot written here, and so I'm not going to get into all that. But that the language is a frequency. It's a frequency of vibration when you speak that hits the atmosphere. You understand? The waves. That's water. You can part the sea. These things start making sense now. Just because you can't see it does not mean it's not happening. So you're speaking, and what's the word, the living word? That's another way of putting it. It's the language of light, our original language, right? Which also some people may say, well, it used to be telepathy. That's why the Bible says, I will use foolishness to save my people. So what God calls good, let no man, paraphrasing, call bad, right? Vain babble. But anyway, the language of light, the spoken word that will not come back void. Because what? It will part these waves and this prism that's trying to block us. It's a language of a light that gets through. Now, then you have music. This gets Very, actually, this is very interesting. So, just as I said, you know how you have the scales of, let's say, fear, then you have hate, and then you have, and it just goes all the way up to, I guess, like love and joy and peace. And then when the Bible says, many that are first will be last, and many that are last will be first, that's music. It's E equals MC squared. That's energy in motion. Music, a motion picture. Remember, that's what we are. We're a motion picture. We're watching, we're making our own movie. So rather than them telling us our vision, we're letting the big G tell our vision, meaning our story, our true story. We're telling it, right? We're not letting his story remain anymore. So the music is our music in motion. It's the work. When they say the faith, this is the works, you can call it. That's this music in motion. In it, all your what? Emotions, your love, the hate, the this. It's like a symphony. You playing beautiful music. You need both. You need both. And you're playing beautiful, like I say, beautiful music. You may not hear it, but all this music, when you move, you're making music, whether you know it, like I said, or not. E equals MC squared. Energy in motion. Emotions. So not being hard on yourself, and I'm talking to myself, when you're just not feeling it or you're not doing what you feel you should be doing, you bring it back just saying, you know what, let me go to another state of myself, another state of the self, where I'm just being aware that I'm watching myself in this motion picture. And energy in motion, right? So you, like I say, like a symphony. Now, next is math, which is none bigger than others, but very extremely important, because this is where I bring up the name Melchizedek, which every time I heard the name, it was just something so powerful about it. And I heard it. They don't mention it, I think just twice in the Bible, but in a lot of other spiritual texts and places, very relevant person. That's the king of righteousness. So when the Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom in his righteousness, that's the big G's right hand man. Melchizedek is the Messiah of the angels, which is the angles. He puts you in right standing. So when you seek the kingdom, seek ye first the kingdom, the king's dome, putting on your crown. So no matter what your state of life is, knowing that you are what, just like Christ would say, he was a peasant and a king, was still aware he was a king. No matter what this world, what he was doing in this world, he was very aware and conscious that he was a king. King's dome, the crown chakra illuminated. And seek ye first the kingdom and his righteousness will put you in right standing, and what those things will be added on to you. So let's say if you're trying to manifest some things or whatever, but on the highest frequency, I always say, now this is about, this not about material right now. That we maybe another video, but this is about getting back home to the kingdom where we belong, baby. That sounded pretty good. So the math is the angles, not angels. Angels are angles. So we already had the music, like a piano, the keys. Remember the greater and lesser keys of Solomon? The keys, energy and motion. Just being. Not just being, right? Being aware. There's listening to that inner self, listening. It's a story being told, being able to hear it. And like I say, it's a Holy Spirit, which is a form of water. Water is all around. Fish just don't live in water. We all need to live in water. That Holy Spirit, breath of life, all it's gonna lead you and guide you to what? So math, Melchizedek, the right angles, the king of righteousness, the Messiah of the angels, the Messiah of the angles will lead you and guide you. Gonna put you in right standing. So the angle show to show you when we talk about movement, how to move the right way, because you had this symphony of ups and downs and this great motion picture, and now you want to go back home. So you seek the kingdom in Melchizedek. It's an order of Melchizedek. The order of Melchizedek was what? The line of Melchizedek. You get in order, in line. You're in line. Right standing. You're going to be shown the right angles. I think I'm going to end this in about 5 more minutes. The way to go. The angels, the angles. Math. Sacred geometry. Remember the square and the circle? These are sacred geometry. The two triangles. One up, one down. 963, 369. The universe and heaven. They both will pass away. Why? Because it's a transition. It's gonna be a transition. This earth and this heaven shall pass away. That's how you know it's more than one heaven. Like I said, so when they said seek heaven, it's plethora of heavens. It's the kingdom, or like I say, it's the kingdom of heaven, but it's the king's dome. Thinking like a king and no longer a peasant. That knowing that was just a role you were playing because you were congealed light, slowed down or frozen light. But then when you're freed, that's no longer your state. You no longer live there. You what? Moved. Get it? To another state of what? Mind. Another state of consciousness, of awareness. So the right angles. So just like you think of angels, this was just told to me, it's different angles. And when you say names, see, they don't go, it's an energy. It's a frequency that's going to attract the right energy, the right way. So you're saying and doing it's all just going to flow. Let's put it that way. You're going to ice, liquid, rise, repeat. It never ends. That's just like stopping. You never stop learning. All that dark matter in them holes, and they say, oh my God, it goes on forever. That just like the junk DNA, because it's all written inside of you. It's all a beautiful mystery that hasn't been told yet. But on another level, it's already done. The future. I'm the Alpha and the Omega. The beginning and the end. How should the end be? Just like the beginning, full of what? Light. The word, the perfected atom. Hydrogen with one atom. We return back. Now, I'm going to tell you. Not many. Like I say, a very select few. Very select few. Know the mystery, the story of water, which is, I'm going to do another show about it. I'm thankful for this. And I'm told I'm going to get more downloads about this. And I actually had some previous downloads I need to add to it. But water, look into water, what water really is. When you put the light, that the right thoughts into water, when you put the right, the love into water, that love where you're moving, you just feel so good. That's because you put it into your water. The wrong people can do what? That can make your water acidic. See, water is the key to life. Where everything is majority what? Water. Even what we can't see gets even deeper. All that, what they say that we can't see, that's water. But you might not be able to see it. But what? Just like the seven noble gases, 5 of them is what? Abundant in the air. So when you breathe, the breath of life, 5 noble gases is abundant in the air. So when you think this Bible, this and other religious books are just telling fairy tales, oh, I'm here to tell you it's very real. And I didn't even get to the like scientific parts. You know, Jacob saw God face to face in the land called Peniel. It's 5, 6. I said 60. Some people say 5, flesh, bone, marrow. That's literal. But part, the most minute part says quantum physics. It's going all the way back to water, which has what? All the memory. The memory will give the cells, the hydration, hydrogenes, epigenetics, more using your brain, all the junk DNA, which correlates what to, like I said, the story of all what you can't see, the dark matter, the 90% dark matter. And it's only dark because it's also what waiting on us. It's all the time. It's a divine time, and it's waiting on us to awaken to what? Come with fire to heat up our energy, and the subconscious will get memory. Yep, subconscious. So we don't just take it what what a sub doesn't. No. Subconscious will heat up, just like it's ice. It will heat up and get memory of all the understanding that it already has, and the power that it has, just like us. At a divine time in order. In order. Anyway, I enjoyed doing this. I felt a little uncomfortable, I guess, because it's been a minute, but I'm really glad. Whoever watches this, if you watch to the end, whoa, you really you want it. You want it. Watch it again and watch it. I watched this just a few times. Some things can just be super simple, but so deep, and I just gotta watch it and watch it, because sometimes, like, as people, it's just, we're human as well. That's another state that we're in. You drift, and you kind of may get off subject, but when you watch things, you begin to what? See things that you didn't hear at first. You're like, I didn't even catch that. And I'm gonna end with this. I don't like doing the buffet of knowledge, meaning I just jump from this show, this information, that information, and it's like nothing is really getting here and sticking. Now, I'm not just saying I'm the deepest brother in the world or this, but what I'm saying is this right here is something very, for a select few, very serious that needs to be repeated. And you know how I end every show, even though I haven't did it in a while, this still I end it. Love and shalom.